Please rise as we receive the Vice Chancellor's procession. The Vice Chancellor's procession, led by the Deputy Registrar, St. Martin's, Directors of Academic Programs and Institutes, Deans of Schools and Faculties, of Students, Provost College of Medical Sciences, the Provost College of Postgraduate Studies, Principal Officers of our great university, and the inaugural lecturer. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice Chancellor's procession. We'll take the first and second stanza of the national anthem and then the Uniband anthem, the national anthem. Greatest Uniben. Greatest Uniben. Please, you may be seated. Our very distinguished Vice Chancellor, Professor Edoba Omoroge, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, represented here this evening by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Victor Igbeneweka. Your Excellencies, top government functionaries, your Royal Highnesses, former Vice Chancellors of our university and heads of institution, all the principal officers of our great university, the provosts, deans and directors, the inaugural lecturer and family, professors emeriti, other esteemed professors and erudite scholars here present, my Lord spiritual, greatest Uniben staff and students, invited guests, and of course gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you heartily to this 349th in the inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin, to be delivered by an erudite scholar and an academic of no mean repute, Professor Ovuyo Peter Ojugo. A round of applause for him, please. On the topic, at the climate change crossroads, unmasking drivers, counting costs, and rethinking survivor pathways. It's my singular honor this afternoon to invite the Registrar, Mr. Demola Bobola, to introduce the Vice Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor's procession. The Registrar, sir.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to plead with the Vice Chancellor Institute to allow me to continue to abide by the protocol as duly established by the officer representing the PRO of this university. I think he has done it so well. Let's give him a round of applause for what he has done. As is customary of us to present to us today, not to introduce, to present very eminent and distinguished persons. The Vice Chancellor of this university is a level substantive Vice Chancellor. And prior to assuming duty as Vice Chancellor, he has served in various capacities in this university, rising through the ranks to the utmost position of a professor. And along the line of career development, since he's a distinguished barrister at law, he has attained that very singular purpose for those at the bar and to become the senior advocate of Nigeria. And in all circumstances, he has served both within and outside the university system and even outside the country in various capacities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Professor Edoba Omoroge, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. We should be, physically may not be able to find him, but blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. A few moments ago, the VC was engaged with most of us, and we told him that just look, follow us, since this is going to be beamed live. We are being beamed live. So the VC is very much here with us. So that's the more reason why I said, let's give him a round of applause once again for his transformational activities. He's ably represented physically by one of his deputies. This time around, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, a man who has combined scholarship with tradition. He's a distinguished palace chief and a very eminent scholar in the area of educational planning and management. Professor Victor Igbeneweka, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, standing for the Vice Chancellor. We have another very distinguished deputy vice chancellor. This time around, the deputy vice chancellor administration, Professor Christopher Osubo. The DVC Ekenwa campus is also here. Distinguished Professor of Pharmacognosy, Professor Bunyamin Ainde. We have new addition to the management team. Recently, he was appointed here. We loaned him to Edo State University to be the bursar there. But when the owner of the property needs the property, you have to ask for the property to be brought back. Mr. Osage Osifo is the new bursar of this university. And he has promised that money will flow. We expect that to be flowing. He said we should hold him to his words. We also have another distinguished addition this time around in the areas of books. When you have money, you also have books also to flow with it. A woman who is bringing excellence in the area of library development of this university, a distinguished scholar too, a professor in her own right, a former university librarian of a sister university, a former head of department of library science in a sister university. This time around, University of Benin needs her, and we have brought her. Professor Jane Abba, the university librarian. On the other side there, we have the representative of the Provost College of Medical Sciences, Dr. Mrs. Edo Taiwo. We have the provost of a very distinguished and reputable College of Medical Sciences, the college that many institutions want to sign MOU with. The man who is piloting the affairs of that particular college at this time, Professor Wilson Sado, the provost. We have also with us the man who wants us to call him the only dean of the only faculty. Now the faculty gave rise to all other faculties, but we know we have to do a lot of research to establish that. So I can be empirical. But for now, it's also the host dean today. Somebody we have to hold very well and very tight. Professor Maui Osule is the dean faculty of social sciences. We have a man who has built us house. When we find out like this, we always look at the tallest. It used to be Professor Bolagba and Professor Jerry Oluwe contesting then. The two of them have come to take the back seat. And in the front street is the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Professor C.O. Emokao. He is the tallest in the park for now. And of course, we have with us a man who is combining religion also with scholarship. He's a Lord Bishop, but on this occasion he's not presiding. Professor Benson Osadolo, the Dean Faculty of Arts. The Dean School of Basic Clinical Sciences, Professor V.J. Ekanen. The Dean School of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor H.B. Osadolo. The Protem Dean of the brand new Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, Professor Marcel A. Okako. The Dean who prizes himself as the oldest of all the deans in office, who had been the dean of our boss before, but now trying to maintain the backseat gradually before he completes his tenure. The Dean Faculty of Education, Professor Kingsley Omogiwa. I have the Dean Faculty of Engineering, Professor K.O. Obede. The representative of the Dean Faculty of Environmental Studies is not new to this program, is always standing in for Professor Raphael Rube. Dr. Jeff Uwodo. The Dean of our boss, who indirectly can also transfer to be our boss. If somebody is your boss's boss, then it means you are also subordinate to that person. That is until the registrar issues any reply from his office anyway. The Dean Faculty of Law, Professor Bright Bazwaye, is the Dean of the Vice Chancellor. The Dean Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor T.O.T. Imobe. Representing the Dean School of Medicine, Professor N.O. Enaruna. And then the Dean Faculty of Management Sciences is being represented here today by Professor E. Eragwe. Yeah, thank you. And then we have the Potent Dean, Faculty of Nursing Science, not a woman, not a lady, not any female. This time around is a man in the world of the nursing profession, nursing training and profession. Professor F.U. Okafor. Of course, we have with us the representative of the Dean Faculty of Physical Sciences, Professor Julian Mbego. We have the Dean Faculty of Science Laboratory Technology, Professor J.O. Osaruese. And the Dean Faculty of Vocational and Technical Education, Professor E.E. Uko Aviomo. The Director, Center for Gender Studies, Professor Lucy Okokon. The Director, National Center for Energy and Environment, Professor O.M. Alile. Is Professor Alile there? Yeah, I think we saw him the other time. So then we also have another Lucy this time around, standing in for the Director Center for Distance Learning Program, Mrs. Lucy. That's Professor Mrs. Lucy Eri Makweme. Sorry about the pronunciation, is jaw-breaking. Director Center for Entrepreneurship Development, Professor B.O. Edegbai. The Director of the Center for Educational Technology. I hope this person is attending this program for the very first time. Professor Dr. Mrs. B.N. Agawa. Congratulations on your appointments. Those are the new directors joining us. And we have another new director joining us now. Director, Intellectual Property and Technology Transfer Office, IPTTO, Professor S.E. Amonio. And we have the Director, Techfund Center of Excellence in Aquaculture and Food Technology, Professor Mrs. Patience Isjoma Obo. We have also the Director Center for Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, Professor O. Timothy. And also we have another brand new director, this time around in Advanced Digital Engineering Center, Professor R.S. Ebodiagwe. We have also the Director of General Studies, Professor Musa Ohomba. We have also with us Director Central Research Laboratory, Professor Beckley Ikajiagwe. The Director Center for Continuing Legal Education, Professor D.U. Odige. We shouldn't be tired of clapping. Please, let's sustain the clapping, please. Thank you. Thank you. The Acting Director, Institute of Public Administration and Health Services Management, all the way from Ekewa campus, Professor John, the professor is being conferred very soon, Dr. John Osagai. Please, let's give him a round of applause. And we have a brand new director too, the director of UBIT. That's the industrial training arm of the University of Benin, Professor Engineer S.Z. Iyeke. And we have the Director Center for Maritime and ICT, Dr. F.O. Woire. And we have also the Director, SEBI Center for Engineering, Design, Manufacturing and Innovation, Professor Mrs. N. Kayode Ojo. We have the Director, Center for Artificial Intelligence and Development, Dr. E. Olaye. The last but not the least is the officer who led the Vice Chancellor Central, Mrs. C.I. Egato, who is the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Senate matters. Please, let's give her a round of applause. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please allow us to have all our centers represented here so that you know what the West of Benin is actually made of. It is on this note that I humbly hand over the microphone to the Acting Vice Chancellor to present the Vice Chancellor's address.
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Our Vice Chancellor, Professor Edoba Bright Omerigi, SAN, is attending this 349th inaugural lecture series virtually. He has asked me to physically represent him and physically direct the lecture activities. I would therefore read the address as given to me by our dear Vice Chancellor. Principal officers of the university, Provost College of Postgraduate Studies, Provost College of Medical Sciences, Deans of Faculties and Schools, Directors of Institutes, Members of Council here present, Professor Emeriti and Members of Senate here present, my Lord Spiritual and Temporal, staff and students of Great University of Benin, distinguished invited guests and friends of the university, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to the 349th in the inaugural lecture series at the University of Benin. Today's lecture is the 20th to be delivered in my tenure as the Vice Chancellor of this great university. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our lecturer for today. He is Professor Peter Akpodiogaga Ojugo. The title of his lecture is At the Climate Change Crossroads, Unmasking Drivers, Counting Costs, and Rethinking Survival Pathways. Professor Peter Akpodiogaga Ojugo was born on 13th February 1964 in Okpara Island, to the family of Mr. Jacob Ojugo and Mrs. Eruterio Ojugo of Okparaland, Ethiopia local government area, Delta State. He had his primary education at Uwegbe Primary School, Okpara Island, where he obtained his primary school living certificate in 1977. He attended James Wells Grammar School, Emebo, where he obtained the West African School Certificate in 1984. He thereafter gained admission into Bende State University, now Ambosale University, Ekluma, to study education geography, and graduated with BSc Ed degree with second class upper division in 1989. He participated in the one-year mandatory National Youth Service in Gongola, defunct Gongola State, Post-Primary Education Management Board, YOLA, from 1990 to 1991. In his quest for more knowledge, Professor Ojugo obtained a Master of Science degree in climatology in 1992 and a PhD in climatology in 2003, both from the University of Benin. His other qualifications are Certificate in Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Systems Application, National Center for Remote Sensing, JOS 2007, Certificate in Training in Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Systems Application for Sustainable Development, UNIBEN 2008, Certificate in Customized Training in Geographic Information Systems for application in climatology and vegetable analysis, vegetation analysis, Regional Center for Training in Aerospace Surveying, OAU, Ile-Ife 2010, and Certificate in Training in Introduction to Geographic Information System, National Space Research and Development Agency, NASRA, Abuja 2010. Professor Ojugo worked as a teacher master grade 2 in Adamawa State Post-Primary School Management Board and Delta Post-Primary School Management Board from 1991 to 1993. In June 1993, he was employed as a lecturer 3 in the College of Education, Akbor, and withdrew his services as a lecturer 2 in September 1998. Professor Ojugo joined the services of the University of Benin in 1998 as lecturer 1 in the defunct Department of Geography and Regional Planning, now Department of Geography and Disaster Risk Management, and rose through the ranks to the position of a professor in 2010. Professor Ojugo went on a leave of absence when he was appointed Director and Chief Executive, Research and Training, Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, Lagos, from 2017 to 2022, and he was reappointed in 2023. Position is holding to date. He is also the rector, Muhammadu Buhari Institute of Science and Technology, Katsina, from 2023 to date. He has held several administrative positions within and outside the university. Chairman, Facility Users Committee, UNIBEN, 2004 to 2010. Member, Director, Teaching and Laboratory Course Utilization Committee, Uniben 2004 to 2014. Member, review panel of rusticated and expelled students, University of Benin 2004. Representative of Faculty of Social Sciences, University Admission Board, UAB, University of Benin 2007 to 2008. Head, Department of Geography and Regional Planning, University of Benin 2010 to 2012. Head of Department Photogrammetric and Remote Sensing, United Nations Regional Center for Training in Airspace Surveillance, OAU Ilefe 2012 to 2013. Chairman, Faculty of Social Sciences Lecture Series Committee, University of Benin 2016 to 2018. He served as member Student Disciplinary Committee, University of Benin 2016 to 2018. Member Committee on Professor Jugu also served as a member Committee on Task Force on Pedagogical Issues 2017 to 2018. He served as member World Meteorological Organization on Education and Training 2017 to date. Professor Jugo is a member, fellow of the following professional bodies and associations. Council member and National First Vice President, Nigerian Meteorological Society, NIMET, 2019 to date. Vice Chairman, he served as Vice Chairman of Social Service Committee, SSC, International Association of Meteorological Education and Science, IMS, 2021 to date. He has also served as a member and National President, Association of Nigeria Geographers, 2021 to 2023. Council member, Association of Nigerian Geographers, 2023 to date. Former council member, National Councillor, Nigerian Environmental Society. Member, World Meteorological Organization, Executive Council, Capacity Development Panel, representing all global WMO Regional Training Center 2020 to 2023 and re-elected 2024 to 2027. Expert team member, World Meteorological Organization, Education Policy and Competency Framework 2024 to 2027. Expert team 2027. He is also expert team member, World Meteorological Organization, Guidance and Oversight of Capacity Development Matter 2024 to 2027. Professor Ojugu has successfully supervised the following 5 PhDs, 47 MSc projects, 2 MPhil projects, 117 undergraduate projects, and 5 diploma projects. 2 publications in books, articles, in books and articles published in peer-reviewed journals. He's an editorial board and advisory board member to some reputable journals, including the Benin of Benin, Federal University State University Journal of Environmental Sciences and University of Benin Journal of Geography, Environment and Planning. Professor Jugo is a member of AUC accreditation team, facilitator to National Population to many federal and state universities across Nigeria. He is a devout Christian and is married to Mrs. Ogenefejiro Joyce Ojugo, and the union is blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite Professor Peter Ojugo to deliver his lecture.
My visitor, permit me to follow the existing protocol. The title of the inaugural lecture is Change Crossroads, Unmasking Drivers, Counting Costs, and Rethinking Survival Pathways. As said by my Vice Chancellor, going to be delivered by a professor of geography that specializes in climatology. And my name is Professor Ojugo Peter Akpotiogaga Ovunyonyo. Vice Chancellor, I say if you laugh heartedly, it's an addition of years of your life. My name, when you mention abroad and here, laughter comes, like some years are added. Thank you, sir. Yeah, this inaugural lecture is dedicated to any other person by my brother, Mr. Ojugo Okona, who is here. He stood by me when no one else stood. I lost my father at the age of 13, and when I was in primary 6. And he stepped in, not because he was the eldest brother, no. He was not the first, he was not the second, he was not even the third. But he tended to be the bravest. And he always had the time. And he was, we can do it. So what he said is that I'm going to teach you so that we work together, make money for your education. So he taught me bricklayer or bricklaying, building of house. So that is what I learned before I started my secondary school. Under the sun, under the rain, we toil together so that we can fund my education. There are times in 1 week, 2 weeks, I will not to school will be working so that I can get money that can take me for the next 1 month or 1.5 months or so. So if you see my secondary school result, you always see irregular in class, always absent, poor attendance, not serious in class. And that was what fools everywhere. The sacrifices that we made before laid the foundation for this moment. The struggles of yesterday have become the success we are celebrating today. Thank you for believing in me. Now the preambles. Vice Chancellor, sir, let me tell you the humble spark that ignited my academic journey. I always tag it tea and fried egg. What did I say? Yes. From the background, you know that I came from the poor home. Poor, modest, and respected household, where drinking tea was a luxury, let alone accompanied with fried egg. So, but there were teachers, some TCP teachers in our compound. Every morning, they will be frying eggs. You know the aroma of the frying eggs? Everywhere. As if they have one. After some time, the clinking of the cutlery, the clank, they are drinking tea. The situation was tantalizing, irresistible, and unforgettable. So when I was in primary school, primary 2, I called my mother, Mama, why is it that we don't drink tea and eat fried eggs like the teachers? My mother laughed and laughed. I remember the scene. It is later I remember that he was laughing so long, trying to think of what to tell me. The answer he gave to me changed my destiny. She said, my son, if you want to drink tea and eat fried eggs, you must go to school, pass your exams, get government job like the teachers, then they pay you big money, enough money that you can use to buy tea, take fried egg, and you will eat. That was the turning point in my life. From then on, I took education very seriously. There are times there's no food to eat to school. I will say, Mommy, I'm not going to school. I won't go. You will say, okay, fine, don't go to school. Sit down, don't be like me. So you will not eat fried egg and drink tea. Hey, I will carry my iron box there. We call it portmoto. We carry the portmoto over here school. And there I come. Ironically, but interestingly, today, medical doctors are now advising me that I should reduce my fried egg. Such is Vice Chancellor, sir, and distinguished audience. This is the 9th inaugural lecture from the Department of Geography and Regional Planning and 349th inaugural lecture from the University of Benin. It will interest you to know that the 8th inaugural lecture, like the one just delivered in the Geography Department, was delivered by my BSc, MSc, and PhD student, Professor G.O. Atebe. A good father always prays that his children should be greater than him, and it happened here. Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Edoba Omoregi-san, I thank you sincerely for granting me the opportunity to present this inaugural lecture. And this is the outline. We are going to unmask the drivers of climate change. What are the things causing the climate change? We are going to open them. We are going to count the cost of climate change. The one we can quantify financially, we will do. There are some we cannot quantify them financially, we will also let them know. Who is more vulnerable to climate change? We will know. Then is climate change always bad? Is there benefit to climate change to man? We are also going to know that. Then we are going to rethink the survival pathways through the mitigation and adaptation. We are going to make recommendations and we are going to come to conclusion. Introduction. What is the concept of climate change? Climate change is a change in the state of the climate that can be identified by changes in the mean and or variability of its properties that persist for an extended period of time, typical decades or longer. So climate change is not a normal thing. You must identify the impacts of climate change. It must persist for a very long time, decades. To the degree of the variability of the climate change that is subjected to, the duration that it took, the impact on man and the ecosystem are the things we are looking at climate change. This is what Ojudu 2011 A find out. Let us unmask the masquerade. The drivers of climate change. There are just only two. Natural factors and human factors. Called a natural driver or human driver. This one you are seeing there is the natural factor. And in the natural factor, you have intercellular, continental drift, volcanic emissions, solar output, Earth, sun geometry. There are many. We are not going to give details of this lecture. We're going to give some other, but when the booklet is out, you'll get details of this from here. But in this place, in the natural factor, I will summarize it with this demonstration. This is the sun to my left. And this is the earth. It is the gravitational pull of the sun that holds the earth. So when the gravitational pull of the sun increases, it will draw the earth to itself the way magnet draws a plate, okay, to itself. And when it gets closer, it receives more solar energy. The earth will convert solar energy and the temperature of the world will increase. Nothing any human being can do. But when the gravitational pull of the sun decreases, it will release the sun and it will pull apart. Then it will receive lesser solar radiation and will have a cooler earth. Now, for some years, it is in between. That is why we are not having it too hot or too cold. Then we have the human factors. What you and I are doing. What institutions are doing, like Uniben, like other institutions, government, what are they doing that is causing the climate change? We are going to see them. We have then deforestation, agriculture, water pollution, industrial processes. There are so many here. All of this will affect the Earth's climate. From there, it leads to global warming or cooling and turn to climate change. Now, let's pick a few of them and try to analyze them and summarize them. Urbanization. Benin is an urban area. It is growing. People are coming in. Have a physical expansion. Transport is increasing. Industries are coming. They are generating waste. All of these are footprints that cause climate change. How did they cause it? Let's come here. To the top left, you have a city, Ibadan, the largest tropical city in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, in what you have here, everywhere here was forest. And two things cause climate change. When you release greenhouse gases, such as chlorofluorocarbons, methane, nitrous oxide, and others, they absorb heat in the atmosphere, some go into the atmosphere and destroy the ozone layer, allowing more solar radiation to come in. So if you release these greenhouse gases, it destroys the atmosphere. But nature always has a balance. That is why nature has to build trees, make trees vegetation grow, and water. And up to 60% of released carbon is supposed to be absorbed by both the trees and the water. But now, you build these trees. And when you buy the land, you clear the trees out. Those who are up to 30, 40 years in Benin City, they will know quite well that this university has forests between now and Uselu. There are so many different forests. But today, where are they? They are gone for buildings. And when you clear your house, you build your house. And if you want to stay in your house, most especially our women, our ladies, will come. Okay? I did clear grass when I was a tenant. So I don't want to clear grasses here again. So we must cement the whole floor. We are not going to plant trees. I don't want to sweep leaves. So when you cement everywhere, you don't plant trees. What happens? You are causing climate change. Because since the everywhere is cemented, when rain falls, water will not percolate into the ground. It flows into the street from your compound, from my compound, before you know you hit the gutters. Gutters get filled and flooded somewhere. We will be crying, hey, flood will kill us, flood will government come. Not government, you are the cause. I am the cause. Then, if you flood the compound, grasses, so that grasses will not grow, or you use interlocking ties. Since there is no percolation, there will be no much evaporation that will go into the atmosphere. And what evaporates from the ground and what transpire from the plant, all of them form the cloud that brings rainfall. So there will be no rain. You will be shouting, there is no rain. Who is the cause? You are the cause, I am the cause. Again, if you use interlocking ties, say we are not going to clear grasses. After some 1 or 2 years, grasses will still grow. Is that not? You cannot use cutlass to clear because it is stone. So you will now go and buy chemical to spray them. And by spraying them, rain is washing those chemicals to the streams and to the river, polluting the surface water. And when the surface water is polluted, it will not be able to absorb carbon. Carbon sequestration will be reduced, and climate change will be caused. Then, since you flood the compound, the last one here, if you flood the compound, when in the afternoon, when sun shines, this concrete will absorb the heat in the daytime. Then in the night, it will release it. And the heat will be coming to your house. You'll be crying, hey, heat won't kill person. Not the heat one, and you won't kill yourself. So these are some of the ways we cause climate change. Because we change the environment. You construct road, the road absorbs heat and the light. Then you also, we have cars. Your cars, they emit carbon. Because if you look at the cars you have in Nigeria, I don't think we have up to 5% new cars in Nigeria. 5 cars of 5 years, 10 years, when they bring, they say this one, you see neat, now off-road somewhere. You will not use it on, you will be begging you to retire it, no way, until it dies. And the older the vehicle, the more carbon it will be emitting into the atmosphere. Look at industries. Industries, they are emitting gases into the atmosphere, destroying the atmosphere. Then look at this gas flaring. My village is close to a flare site. I grew up to meet that flare site. Today, I'm in my 60s. They are still flaring the gas there. If you go to Kokori, look at the volume of pollution they have caused in those areas. So these are causes of climate change that we are masking. Deforestation. You clear forests for farming because there are no fertilizers. Either they are not available or they are not affordable. And these are the forests that absorb the carbon. So they are no longer there. You are killing them. Then you destroy the water, pollute the water, so the water cannot absorb them. So carbon sequestration is reduced and the climate change is enhanced. This is what Ojibo 2002 and others find out. Now, we've unmasked the cause of climate change. You've known where you are to show that you and I were bad tenants. And if I'm God, I will give all of you good notice. Now let's look at the areas. Counting the cost. The first cost is the atmosphere that we are noticing. Temperature is increasing. If you look at the global temperature today, since 1850, when records started, temperature has increased by 1.1 degrees Celsius globally. But in Nigeria, it's about 1.6 degrees Celsius. This is what is found on Jigo 2000C, 2010A, and 2023 research. Then, The global system, if you look at the global movement of the temperature, from 1970s, it has been going up. This is the global movement. Then this is Nigeria since 1970. It is also increasing. Temperature is increasing. The same rainfall, this blue one is the rainfall. Rainfall is also increasing. But the problem is that the number of rain days are decreasing. So if rainfall amount is increasing and the number of rain days are decreasing, which means we have high rainfall intensity. And when rainfall is intense, it causes flooding. And we always shout, there are problems here. This is the 10th hottest year in the world, and they are within the past 10 years. The hottest year since record started in 1850 is 2024, that's just last year here. And from what is going on, 2022, which the table will be knocked out, because this 2025 will be among the first 3 or first 4 at the end of this year. Now, NIMET is the agency that is empowered to give you information on yearly basis, daily basis, and this information, they spread it out, call it climate, that's SCP, seasonal climate prediction. Every January and February, it is announced. It is online. If you go to NIMET's website now, you will see it. So this one you are seeing, they predicted that the rain will start this year in the southern part of Nigeria, around the coastal area of Nigeria, at the end of February. Then in the northern part, it will start by June, middle of June. That one is passed. What I will advise you to look for now is the cessation of the rainfall. When the rain will end this year, he predicted that Sokoto, the rainfall will end in the first year of this of October, while in the southern part of Nigeria, it will end the first week of December. In Benin, there will be rain throughout November. The implication is that you can even plant maize now. So if you take September, October, and November, it will also mature. So if you want to plant maize, you can plant, and you come back to pay me for consultancy fee. Now, environmental implication. The environmental implication is always either too small or too much. That is why I don't like the word TOO. And I always ask the question, whether TOO is good. Is it good? Let me ask this question. Maybe you may say it's good or not. If somebody is too fat, is it good? What of too slim? Is it good? What of too poor? Is it good? What of too rich? Yeah, nobody wants to say that. But you know, when it is too much, when you are too rich, in most cases you become foolish. Now, this is the impact of too much water. And this is our Uselu line area. When there is flood, a lot of things are destroyed. And what the property at home, fence, and it may even end up in death of so many persons. This is our Uselu here. This is the coast of Lagos. Ocean sea level rise is destroying most of the things in the ocean, driving people out of the ocean system. Now, I tend to look at the cost of the 10 deadliest climate-induced climate worldwide. And the deadliest one is Cyclone Nagis, storm that happened in Myanmar. It cost about $4 billion and killed 140,000 people, only one activity. Then the heat wave that took place in Europe in 2003 cost $13.8 billion and killed 70. So in total, you will see that these 9 climate-induced disasters has cost over $24 billion and killed over 200,000 people. If one person is even killed, can you quantify it financially? No. That is why it is very, very dangerous. Look at 2 little waters. This is Nigeria, this is not Sahara Desert. This is Yobe State, Kaska village in Yobe State. Sand dune is driving people from their homes. You will have farm. Before you come, sand has covered the whole farm. You can't farm again. You pack away. You go somewhere. Before you come back, sand has hit. Sand is hit on your building. You will back away from that, the house will collapse. Surface water are also covered by sands. There is no way you can plant with this. So when you see most of the Hausa people running down, it's not because of the terrorism. Climate change is actually pursuing many of them down south, migrating down south. This is Ayekuru in Ondo State, our neighbor here, where sea level rise is coming, bringing salt water, destroying, pushing them from their homes. So there is water surrounding, but they cannot drink it, but water is salty. It comes from the sea. In 2012 and 2022, they are the deadliest floods that we had in Nigeria, and it killed over 1 million people. 1,000 people, I mean. So in these things, you can see that most of these things cannot be quantified. Look at 2BT water. Surface water has dried up. So you dig the river so that you can be getting water. I experienced something like this in Adamawa State when we went for a field walk. There is only one pumping water. This water is in the entire village, and it got bad. So the only option for us to dig like this and get the water, allow it to cool down, then put alum or something you must drink until it was repaired. And if there is too water, the grasses will die, animals will not have water to drink, and most of them will die. What a great loss. Now, this is Lake Chad. Surface rivers are drying. This is Lake Chad. This aspect is Nigeria. In 1963, the size of Lake Chad is like the size of Edo Delta combined. That was the size of Lake Chad in 1963. But last year here, the size of Lake Chad is just only 2,476 square kilometers, which is like the size of 5 local government areas in Edo South. 5 local areas in Benin City. That is Eko, Igbobo, Ovia Northeast, Igboboha, Umuwode, and which one again? That is only 5. That is just only the size. It has shrunk, not even up to Edo South Senatorial District again. And it is in the next 50 years, if we continue like this, Lake Chad will be wiped off from the world history. Now, impact of health. The impact of the health is very serious because since the ultraviolet rays are coming, the ozone layer is destroyed, UVB rays are coming, and it's causing skin cancer, cataracts, and even weakening the immune system. But it doesn't really affect much of the black skin, but it affects the white, the yellow people, the albino, and those who think that God made mistakes by creating them black and they are bleaching and toning the skin. So when you remove this black one, obviously you are inviting cancer. And I want all of us to warn our neighbor. We are going to use the church system. So look at your neighbor. Then let me tell you, if your neighbor is not smiling, don't ask him this question. I'm not having neighbor, but I'm still going to have neighbor. Yeah. So if neighbor to your right is fair, if you are to walk to your right or left, if the person is fair, then ask the person this question. I will pick my neighbor that is fair. The dean of my dean of social sciences is fair. So any question I ask my dean, ask your neighbor that is fair. Neighbor, climate change is real. Protect your skin. Good. Then if your neighbor is black like me, look at the face of your neighbor. Who is going to be my neighbor here? DVC Akansa. And the president of the VC, I beat you because I'm safe. I will not receive slap from me on my face. So any question I ask him, ask the black neighbor in yourself. Neighbor, you are an ambassador of climate change. Alright, so it causes heat waves, it causes rashes, and so many others. And many people die because of heat waves. In Europe this year, about 2,300 people died just of heat waves. But in Nigeria, another good thing with us is that heat wave cannot kill us. Because we were born into heat. That is why, if the medical doctors is here, if you have not found out, go and make this research. If you give birth to a child in Europe, because you give birth to a very cool place, the child will cry small. But if you give birth to a child in Nigeria, when you see the head, so the indirect impact, when there is too much water, it will flood. The whole of the gutter, the water will enter toilets, all the germs and everything will come out and wade through them like this. Carry home germs, carry home diseases. And if the water is too small, animals and human beings will be using the same source of water. And by so doing, going home with a lot of diseases. Now, climate change, we need to spread of diseases to where they are not today. The red aspect is where you have malaria today. But by 2080, if the climate change continue like this, almost the entire world, malaria will spread to almost the entire world. And that is when Europe and America will move. If you look at Australia down here, there is no malaria incident now. But look at it by 2080, if they continue to be here. Even as far to Russia, as far to Ukraine, as far to Canada, mosquito will spread out because of the increasing temperature. Now, if the temperature continues and we are destroying the environment because of planting of crops and urbanization, most of the herbs we use for the pharmaceutical industry today and for herbal medicine will die. And once they are gone, we have problem in this. This is what Ojugo and Balogun 2023 find out. Impact on agriculture. Too much flooding destroy agricultural farms. And this is a fish pond. When there is a flood, the fishes will be happy that their escape being increased. Is that not? Why the owner is suffering from BP and other. If it's not lucky, they may even die. So in 2021, 2022 and 2012 and 2022 flood, you go 2023 find out that over 700 billion naira was lost, and a lot of people also died. When there is no grasses, no surface water, what happened to the animals? They will also die, and it costs a lot of money. We are still counting the costs of climate change. Then in transportation, there is a problem with transport. Most of the delays, flight delays, diversion, cancellation, and even accidents by flight, they are caused by the impact of climate. And we do not trust to do that. Only one strike, lightning from cloud to the earth, may get up to 1 billion volts and be as hot as 30,000 degrees Celsius. That's why when it strikes, it kills at once. Then most tires are burst, whether new or not, it's because of temperature. Because in the daytime, as found out by Jugo 1997 and 2000, we try to measure the temperature of roads in the afternoon heat period. The temperature is as high as 45 to 60 degrees Celsius. So if you are moving on a high speed on this hot road, definitely the vehicle will be, the wiper will be inflated and it will burst. And when it happens, if you are lucky, you go to the mortuary. If one is not lucky, you go, no, if you are lucky, you go to the hospital. If you are not lucky, you go to the mortuary. Then hailstone, this is hailstone that happened in Japan. Those one we call ice block. No one will small, we don't have fridge in our home. When rain is falling, we pick ice block and we eat them. But these ones are dangerous. They are coming bigger. If this one strike on your head, it can cause a lot of damage to kill people, damage vehicles, damage property everywhere. Recreation and tourism is also affected by weather and climate. Thunderstorms affect hailstones and whatever. So if you look at the totality of recreation and tourism, if the weather is good, participation will be high. If the weather is bad, participation will be low. Either festival, even religion, weather affects religion. We have priests and evangelists here, is that not? If there is rainfall, what happens to the attendance in the church? It's low, is that not? If attendance is low, what happens to the offering? All right. Then, in terms of migration, climate climate change is causing migration. As you said, too little water is causing dryness in the desert area, desertification, drought. Sand dunes are being, people are now moving from the north down south. Then the ocean water is increasing, forcing people to move from the south. So Nigeria has a very serious problem of climate change. You should not take it lightly. People are migrating from south, from the coast, migrating from the north. And when there's a migration and the resources are stable, the same thing. What happened? Conflict. From conflict leads to death. Then who is vulnerable? Of all this problem we have counted, who is very vulnerable to it? Poor countries like Nigeria and Ethiopia, we are vulnerable. More vulnerable than rich countries like US and Germany, because they have the capability to cope with the climate change, but the poor man cannot cope with it. The same thing, the poor people are also more vulnerable than the rich people. While the females are more vulnerable than the males. So everybody could be vulnerable, but the degree of vulnerable changes. Benefit of climate change to man. Is everything climate change bad? No. We are not reading only the book of Lamentation in climate change. We also read the book of Revelation. So let's review some of the good things about climate change. The melting ice there is opening land for people to plant. Area that you cannot plant before. Ice is melted, they can plant. Most of the mineral resources that you cannot get to before, you cannot get to them. Deaths due to harsh cold weather is reducing. You see, the whites, they die very quickly. Temperature too high, they will die. Temperature very low, they will die. But we Africans, rugged. Is that right? It improves navigation. It expands areas that mind did not even think of going before. It drives innovation into renewable energy, creating technology for carbon capture, and also creating economic opportunity for other areas. This is what we did with 2011, we did with 2012, and we did with 2024 find out. So everything in climate change is not woes. My Vice Chancellor, sir, we are going to rethink the survival pathways now. What you and I can do, because you and I will destroy it. Not what can we do to repair it? Just two things. Reduce emission of greenhouse gases and enhance carbon sequestration. If you do these two things, climate change will tend to normalize over time. And individuals can do that. First, as an individual, adopt an eco-climate lifestyle by riding bicycle or by walking. So if you see a rich man riding bicycle, don't say, poverty will kill this one. You guys can get motor, you suffer yourself. Right? Not suffering yourself. You want to move from VCO here to Faculty of Science, you enter motor, boom, you drive. You are causing climate change. You want to move from Faculty of Social Science to Education. Not that the weather is harsh or there is rain. You enter motor, boom, because you drive. You are causing climate and even destroying your health. So trek. There are some countries, if you register with bicycle, and certain mileage you will reach every month, they will pay you under carbon trading. But Nigeria, we are not there yet, but we will get there one day. Let's adopt a habit of saving energy by using energy-saving bulbs. Switch off bulbs in your house. You are leaving parlor. You are leaving room. You are going to stay in parlor for 1 or 2 hours. You leave the light on. You are causing climate change. Because it's energy that is used in generating that one. Switch it off to conserve the energy. You are using heater. You allow the heater to hot. You need warm water to bathe, not hot water. Is that not? When it is warm, leave it. You are using iron to press an iron. You want to go and you want to go to the kitchen, you leave it on. It is wasting energy. You want to go inside your water to bring another one again. Switch it off first. You are using washing machine. Fine. It makes life easy. Use the washing machine, but don't use the washing machine to dry your clothes. Sun dry your clothes. In that case, you are saving energy. If affordable, switch to solar energy. Solar energy will help. There will be various degrees of solar energy. You can even buy rechargeable bulbs. When they are charged, maybe you can take 1 or 2 hours first before you go and on the gen. You are reducing pollution of the environment. Then you can have the one that even serving only the bulbs in the house. Gradually, you graduate as money comes. Reduce water use, even in brushing your teeth. Do you know that they are causing climate change if you don't off the tap? Use cup to take water. But as you are brushing, after brushing, you reach your mouth, the tap is rushing. The water you waste by tap rushing is more than the one you use ordinarily. So if it costs you 3 liters or 4 liters to fill the tank and serve it for 2 weeks, you now save you only 1 week. You are losing money, you are polluting the environment. Please, clear grass in your environment with cutlass. Don't use herbicides, because that is the normal thing now. Any small guy says, not the clear grass nowadays, you are polluting the water, polluting the environment, polluting the water, causing climate change. Don't use interlocking ties in all your compound. Use it only where leg will pass and where vehicle will pass. So, my Vice Chancellor, sir, I want to give a model. My house, this house is my place where I stayed. I landscaped this place in 2009. And if you look at this place now, you see economic trees. Initially, my wife is here. Initially, she said, no, I don't want all this. I will bring I don't want to be sweeping. I don't want to be doing fine. Don't argue with women. Use sense. I said, I'm not going to plant only one that will bring leaves. So I use this coconut oil palm to surround the area first. And this coconut was harvested the first week of this August, about 1.5 weeks ago. She used it, she had been using it to do oil palm. We get more than 4 liters from this one. That we get up to 10 liters. But my visitor, for not this money that she's getting, I'm still giving the normal monthly salary. Pear. It is her pear. She planted it. This is Ghana coconut. She planted it too. So I planted mango somewhere by it. My mango was competing. We say your mango won't kill my pear now. So I have to kill my mango and eat my pear. So this is what we should do to make sure. Even at the back here, cassava, there were lines of cassava. We uproot them to make akpu fufu and we eat them. It saves money and also saves the environment. This is landscaping that government can do in cities. This is Lanzhou Forest City in China. And it is in China, my Vice Chancellor, sir, that I see that they transplant big trees. Hey, they don't come. When we were moving, I saw quite search by the trees. And I'm going to ask, what are these white things there? They say it's a drip for the trees. So that before the trees are established, they will be using that. I talk in my mind, she not make me talk. I say in my country, we don't even have drip for human beings, and they are using drip for plants. Now, this, my visitor, we can change Uniben to this. It's the first assignment. Let's plant trees so that the environment will be green. Moreover, this is Monash University in Australia. This is what they use in transporting students, eco-friendly buses. But the one of left is Uniben shuttle bus. Opposite, we do this one some few days ago here. My visitor, let's do something about this Uniben shuttle buses. Some have no navigator. So you think that they are going to the right, they are going to the left. So, when climate change fails, you mitigate. And when you mitigate, we are looking partly for some, how can we mitigate? All the ones we are discussing are part of mitigation. Infrastructure, technology, adaptation, we need to change the ecosystem through strategies of conservation of water. Your water in your compound, don't say I have the tap. Store water, harvest water. When you harvest water in tanks, and those are have borehole, harvest those water, use to wash clothes, you use to wash your cars, and it saves the energy you use in pumping water and polluting the environment. That is why even in my compound there is a well, although there is a borehole. Sustainable agriculture is needed. Health centers should be facilitated. And I come up with 6 recommendations. The first recommendation is to promote sustainable individual actions. All the ones we've talked about, planting flowers, economic trees, reducing water use, all of them are there. Enhance environmental conservation and economic restoration. Strengthen climate-sensitive health and social supports through microfinance and also insurance. They are things that can help us in early warning system. Then transform the energy sector. We should have, if we have affordable electricity, we will not be using generators again. And the electricity should be affordable. Before, is that not? But today, I think the story is better. And from what I heard, solar will come. So my views are, joy is coming. We should mainstream climate change policy and across government, across all government sectors. Invest in research. There is a lot of money in research, in climate change. Those of you are not going in, please go into research in climate change. Carbon funding, carbon trading, they are all there. And there is a lot of money if you can go in there. Conclusions. This lecture shows that all humans and their environment are at the climate change crossroads. We are all there. It is able to unmask the drivers of climate change. We are able to count the cost of climate change. We provided the survival pathways. All we need to do is to rethink how we can implement the pathways for sustainable living now and for the future generation. So I leave all of us with just 2 options. This lecture leaves all of us, we must take one out of the 2 options. 1, continue environmental degradation and face its consequences. And number 2, protect the planet now and ensure and ultimately enjoy a sustainable future. The choice is yours. Acknowledgement. I wish to acknowledge the Vice Chancellor, sir, for the opportunity given to me to provide this lecture. I'm grateful. Then, if no matter how sound you are, you operate in the land, is that not? If the land is not peaceful, can you operate well? So for that reason, special thanks to the custodian of history and knowledge of this place, Benin Kingdom, His Royal Majesty, Omonoba Nedu Kuakolokolo, Oba Iwari, the second Oba to the Oba, to the Ovie, the king of my own area, who is ably represented by these able chiefs. They are representing the Ovie, my own Ovie. His Royal Majesty, Oguri Oguri the First, the Ovie of our kingdom. Ovie was my deepest appreciation goes to the same man, the man that is here. If not for his support, this will not be here. So the struggles of yesterday is what I'm celebrating today. To my beautiful wife, you can see her. I don't think any woman is as beautiful as her. I did not use big words on her, but we have been keeping one promise since we married, almost 3 decades ago. After marriage, they told us that there should be no third party in a marriage, okay? Her family members are here, my family members are here, friends are here. Have any of you come to ask us what is the problem, what is causing this issue? No. So, thank her, we know where to climb and where to come down. Then, the children, you are always, look at the children, look at their beautiful faces here, okay? My visitor, this is just a representative of the children, there are many. He always instilled one thing in us. You must not be rich before you help others. that is what all of us have been practicing. If he did not take it, he would have waited until we before he trained. Is that not? And that is what we are doing. Thank God for late Mrs. Ojubu, Ojubu, my own mother, for providing answer to that tea and fried egg. So parents, if your children ask you questions, please try to answer. If my mother has said, long truth will kill you, you fry egg will kill you, and if you know, where you did, make it for yourself. Now fried egg, not this. I wouldn't have been here today. But you go progress, my junior brother, Faculty of Education. Thank you very much for the valuable thing that you've done. My dean, Professor Amori Osunde, thank you very much for all the support that you've given to me for declaring today half the lecture so that the students can be here. Give them a hand of applause. To all the students, staff of Faculty of Social Science, thank you for all the support. All the students of Social Sciences, thank you very much. The only faculty in the University of Benin. Give them some little noise. All right. To Professor Nokorai and Professor Choko, the fathers of geography here, I thank all of you. Nokorai is far away in the UK now, and Choko is supposed to have been here, but he has been leading a mission in Oyo State for now. Now, I'd like to go to my head of department, Professor Justin. Thank you very much for the help you give to me. My visitor, I did not have the stress of inaugural lecture because the head of the department took all the stress from me and he arranged everyone. You take care, you take care. That is why I'm strong like this. So, head of the department, thank you very much. All the teaching and non-teaching staff of geography department, you too much for your support. All the students of geography department, you too much. All my DG students, you are too much. My visitor, this inaugural lecture was edited by 3 people. One is the head of department, Agaisi, and 2 of my former, my PhD students, which I taught. One of them is the same Professor G.O. Atedo and Dr. P.O. Orobato. They are the ones who review it. I also thank late Professor Yegu, who brought me to Uniben. If not for him, I wouldn't have gotten this job here. So rest on man, anywhere you are today. Then I also acknowledge Professor Awa Tiffin of Delta State, who supervised my first degree. He showed me that climatology is bad for you, are good in science, and he gave me this. This is more or less a red card. I'm going to round up now, you will not give me another one again. Professor Joe Ayade, thank you, University of Ibadan. You supervised my PhD and my master's degree. You taught me the beauty and depth of academia. Professor Sami Abubakar Mashi, the former DG of NIMET, he showed me the way to NIMET that I'm enjoying today. He took me in my first missionary journey. Then to my able Director General, the current one, Professor Charles Anosiki, I thank you seriously for the financial support and also the moral support you gave to me. To all the NIMET family that is represented here, I recognize all of you. You see, they said the climate change topic, is that not? And there is more rainfall to cool the environment today, and the climate has already changed. Now, special appreciation to His Excellency Professor Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Professor Eyam, SON, for believing in me and reappointing me as the Director of Research and Training and doubles as the Rector, Muhammad Buhari Institute of Science and Technology. Thank you very much, sir. Finally, to the Almighty God, who brought all of us here, I'm grateful to you for giving us the gift of life and resources. And to everybody that is here, thank you very much.
A standing ovation for Professor Peter Ojubo. Quite incisive and interesting lecture this evening. You can make it bigger and louder for him. Thank you so much. Please you may be seated. May I now invite the representative of the Vice Chancellor to give us a recap of this evening's lecture.
because I earlier introduced the inaugural lecturer as a bosser. So the MC was afraid to switch off the microphone after spending 1 hour. But I think the lecture was quite exciting, and I congratulate you. This is the synopsis of the lecture as presented by Professor Ojugo. The 349th inaugural lecture of the University of Benin titled At the Climate Change Crossroads, Unmasking Drivers, Counting Costs, and Rethinking Survival Pathways was well delivered by Professor Ojugo. The lecture offered a very comprehensive exploration of the causes, impacts, mitigation strategies, and adaptation measures related to climate change. Professor Ojugo identified key drivers of climate change, including urbanization, deforestation, agricultural practices, and water pollution. These human-induced activities are accelerating global environmental degradation and contributing to the crisis. The lecture assessed the impacts of climate change and counted the cost to include the global average temperature rise of 1.1 degrees centigrade since 1850. With Nigeria experiencing a higher increase of 1.6 degrees centigrade. Other notable consequences including flooding, desertification, public health challenges, disruptions in transportation and tourism, food insecurity, forced migration, and growing conflicts. Rather than leaving the audience without direction, the guest lecturer proposed practical survival pathways. It called on individuals, communities, governments at all levels, and non-governmental organizations to engage in efforts that reduce greenhouse gas emissions and enhance carbon absorption. Suggested adaptation strategies include the construction of seawalls, biodiversity conservation, sustainable agricultural practices, diversification of livelihoods and economies, and strengthening of health systems, and where necessary, migration. The guest lecturer, our dear Professor Ojugo, concluded with a stark but very hopeful message. Humanity must choose between continuing its destructive environmental practices and face severe consequences, or take bold action to protect the planet and secure a sustainable future. Once again, I want to congratulate the guest lecturer for a lecture well delivered. Thank you.
Mr. Vice Chancellor. We invite immediate members of the family to join the inaugural lecturer upstage here. This is Joyce Ojugo, Laura Ojugo, Eromo Ojugo, Stella Ojugo. Please join Professor Peter Ojugo here for the declaration. While the declaration of Professor Peter Ojugo is ongoing, we welcome very distinguished members of the Ojugo family. In no particular order, we welcome Chief Progress Ojugo, Mr. Owona Ojugo, Mr. Christopher Owona, Mr. Obukadata Ojugo, Naomi Opetu, Godwin Sunday Owona. You're welcome to this very important event. We welcome also Professor Emeritus Raymond Elau. We welcome Professor Patrick Ibinovia. We welcome Chief Emobo of Calgary. We welcome Chief a round of applause for all of this. We welcome also Professor Okumeji